John, we'll hear from you during the day. And making their way to interchange for Hawthorn, Aaron Lord, Shane Stevenson and Angelo Lekis. And on the bench for the Eagles, Ilya Grigic, Nick Stone and Philip Matera, who makes a return today. The umpires in charge today. Number 19 is Gavin Dorr, 23 Martin Ellis and 42 Michael Forbes. Good afternoon to Kevin Bartlett, surrounded by champions, I am today.
Thanks, Drew, and good afternoon to Lee as well. Looking forward to this game. I was over in Perth last week, and I saw the Eagles in a fantastic case with Fremantle. It was a great derby over there. They looked to be in really good form. Lewis was fantastic, so was Peter Matera and Dean Kemp, and young Michael Gardner in the ruck is certainly a player of the future.
Well, Chris Langford tossed the coin for the Hawks, and he's lining up on Peter Sumich down at the right-hand end. Hawthorn going right to left with a slight breeze in the first quarter. And Gardner beats Salmon in the middle. And Salmon's great early season form hasn't continued over the last month. Socket out towards the outer wing. Morrison. Taylor gets him. Back to Lewis. And the Eagles working it forward. Into Michael Gardner, the #1 draft pick from last year. Jakovic up from defence. Good to see him back after missing 3 weeks. Langford in front, spoils, gets after it again. Whoa, through he went. Tony Evans gets caught high, and right in front, Evans has a free kick, 35 metres out from goal.
Yeah, it's just a bit of over-aggression. It was really just bubbled over a little bit, really. The Hawthorn players really ran at the Eagles players. Sometimes the odd free kick might be given early, but it's also an indication of the ferocity that Hawthorn are going to attack this game. As long as it's not misplaced, only time will tell.
Well, actually, Langford went through and winged him, but it was Pritchard who got him good and properly around the neck for the free kick right in front. Evans himself celebrating game 100. And he gets it home for goal.
For Tony Evans in game number 100, kicking a goal with his first kick of the match. He's been a great finals player for the Eagles. Salmon against the young gun in Gardner, taken away by Platten, so the Rat kicks deep inside 50, needing a bounce. Jakovic back on the side. Good strong play coming through was Hay. Taken to the ground is Matera. Over the top, we've got a ball up. So Salmon to do the ruck work against Gardner. Chick. Thought he had it, lost it. Ricochets back to Platten, caught. So Johnny Platten played very well in recent weeks. Playing game number 255 today. One of the all-time great rovers. So still a chance for the Hawks. Gardner taps it out to Lewis. He's been in sensational form since coming back from suspension. Taylor was caught. Kicks the ball inside 50 and has been marked by Jakovic.
Gardner's won 4 out of 4 against Salmon so far. Jakovic across half-back. Chris Lewis covering his big part beautifully. Lewis, the short pass up towards centre wing. Cousins just picked out of it. McIntosh back to Cousins. Well, Cousins lasted longer than he did from the opening bounce last week in Perth. Heady, Turnbull, open forward line. Sumich against Langford. Langford gets it down to the 50. Well played, Chris Langford, going like a 2-year-old. But his kick up towards centre wing, a magnificent mark is taken by Chris Waterman. Game 150 for him today.
So centre wing position. Great roar went up when Langford raced away from Peter Sumich. Waterman kicks down, Heady's his target. He's got Crummell to beat, who did well, got his fist to the ball. And they'll toss it back in. Shane Crawford also on screen there with Brendan Crummell. Crawford playing with I think it's a stress fracture of the foot. Certainly is playing on a lot of duress at the moment. So Salmon once more. We see Tony Woods there. He's got the job playing on Dean Kemp today. Evans just screws the ball back. It's been taken by Heady. So a good 65 metres out. Sumich on the lead. It's been ignored. Gehrig, the second option. It was good play. And marks in front of Hay. So Fraser Gehrig with this raking left boot tries to thread it through and puts it out on the full.
Jonathan Hay almost forgot to mind the mark. Scott to take the free kick from the back pocket for the Hawks. He's played every game in his first season in the AFL. He had to wait a lot longer than his twin brother Chris Scott for the Brisbane Lions. Now the whistle's gone. Has Scott come over the mark? He's got to have his kick again. And umpire Michael Forbes is getting this game down to centimetres. Cousins on the mark. Scott looking to clear the 50. And does. Salmon with Gardner. Salmon can't take the mark, but Crummell in front of the pack. Gives up the hand pass to Gehrig. Attempted centering kick. Kemp there with Woods. Good mark by Tony Woods. Back to Scott.
That'll be a great duel, because Kemp was a brilliant player last week. Great transfer of play. Finds Crawford, who'll take him on. Two casual bouncer who gets support from Rodman. Runs to the edge of the centre square and can pop it over to Pritchard. So the veteran comes away, tries to drill it into the pocket, making good ground. Couldn't take it was Jade Rawlings, who's come into the side to replace Nick Holland.
That's where the whole game's a game of inches, isn't it? If that kick had just carried it probably another metre, Rawlings would have marked the ball, possibly kicked the goal. A turnover, just it was a Hawthorn ball. Should have been a goal-scoring opportunity, but the kick wasn't up to it.
Chick, quick snap, they need a bounce. Here's a chance, Crawford. Misses an absolute sitter, puts it out on the full.
I suppose we could say deja vu, same again. The opportunity was there for Crawford, but he hurried himself. The Hawthorn team is probably into this game. The intensity of it's fine, but at the moment their composure is just a little lacking.
Ashley McIntosh to kick in. The breeze into his face, but mostly across the ground towards the outer side. Salmon taken high with no whistle on the play. Morrison back with his hand pass. And they work it out of defence. Simmons runs on. Kemp under pressure from Woods. Overrun by Lawrence. There's Woods again. Pops it up in the air. Lawrence thumps it back. Morrison to centre wing. Lewis. Eagles have the only score of the game. A goal from a free kick to Tony Evans. Lewis goes short, and the mark to Ben Cousins.
Cousins goes short, making ground is Schofield. He's got it. He can play on, go over the top. So Fraser Gehrig will run into the open goal. He should bang it through. It's hit the post. So a good start for West Coast. 1-1-7. The Hawks yet to score. Mark Graham playing up on the full forward line, along with Jade Rawlings. Unfortunately, no Nick Holland today for the Hawks. So Harper tries to pinpoint it. That's a bad kick. It's been marked by Morrison.
It is demoralising too when the fullback kicks in and the opposition interceptor inside 50, where you could possibly kick the distance. However, on this occasion, Morrison has fed it off to Schofield, pushing in.
He'll be kicking from just inside 50. 3 goals for the season. Schofield hasn't quite got the distance, so it's one for the high flyers. Lawrence goes up, tries to fist the ball through. Gehrig balances the ball along with Sumix. It might be kicked off the ground. Fraser Gehrig could be kicked through by Heady. He's kicked a goal.
Yes, those goal line flurries is just a matter of who can get their foot to the ball. The Hawthorn defence here, when the ball goes in, you just got to get it through from behind. Within these flurries, I mean, you can get 6 points against you. The Hawthorn player that came through, I'm just trying to think, it might have been Crummell. He missed the ball when he tried to push it through, and there's only one place when the defensive side get the ball through from behind.
Salmon faces Gardner again, goes Hawthorn's way. Simmons steps through the middle, inside the 50, but not to a forward, to advantage. Scott for Hawthorn. Kicks the back of the ball up towards centre wing, overrun by Simmons. Robrin back with the hand pass to Crummell. Crawford takes them on and beats them. Woods long to full forward. Past Rawlings it goes, and it sits up for Rawlings. A goal! McIntosh must have walked under a ladder.
Yes, and they say there's no luck in football. When you've got an oval ball, how can you have anything else but a bit of luck every now and again? You see the ball, it just sat up in the end here. McIntosh attacked it, bounced over his head, and Rawlings just made contact with the ball with his left foot anyway, but a good confidence booster for the young fella. No one could say that he earned the goal, but it goes against your name, and that is terrific for your confidence.
Well, he kicked 5 goals a couple of weeks ago against Stephen O'Reilly against Fremantle in the first half. So he's a boy who's got potential, just playing his 7th game of AFL football, 5 this year, originally from Devonport. So Jade Rawlings, player for the future may be for the Hawks. Gardner, certainly a player with an enormous future, kicks the ball out wide. High flyer was Lawrence. Sumich threw the ball for mine. It's been pinned. So advantage will be paid. Platten comes away and the Rat kicks to space. He's looking for Chick, got the kind bounce he wanted, can feed the ball off. Taylor has had a tremendous season also for Hawthorn, kicks back to 50. It was a scrubby old kick. Robin got a bad bounce and goes to ground. Virtually threw the ball out. Justin Crawford over the top for the Hawks along with Pritchard. And we've got a ball up just outside of 50.
Eagles leading by 7 points. Fair bit of the crowd has dropped away for the Hawks since their run of 5 wins in a row got them into the 8, but now they've lost their last 4 in a row. Gardner in ruck, and Lewis's kick goes out of bounds. Jonathan Hay to take the free kick for the Hawks. Youngster playing just his 3rd game. Up short of the 50. Gardner spoils Salmon again. Salmon's having a tough time with the youngster today. Through he goes, the fish. Dispossessed. Heady ridden into the ground by Crummell. The umpire comes in and is going to ball it up.
It's interesting at the moment, Justin Crawford is playing right back in the goal square, being picked up by Peter Matera. I'm sure Hawthorn are quite happy to have Peter Matera in the defensive goal square and not up at half back.
Big pack around this. Salmon will give him the hit out, but he's interfered with Gardner, and the Hawthorn crowd not very happy, so everything going Michael Gardner's way at the moment. Waterman. Good punch by Lawrence. And we welcome viewers around the country who've just joined this game at Waverley after the rugby telecast early in the first quarter, and the Eagles have an early lead by 7 points over Hawthorn. Woods for the Hawks. Gets the hand pass up. And very cleverly done there by Dixon. Now Graham up to the 50. To the goal square. Rawlings, who replaced Holland in the selected side. And he is spoiled by McIntosh. The Eagles open proceedings with Tony Evans today celebrating his 100th game, kicking a goal from a free kick. Brett Heady scored a goal for the Eagles, and Jade Rawlings, after a lucky bounce, got one for Hawthorn. So it's Eagles 2-1 leading Hawthorn, 1 straight goal. Chris Langford today playing his 300th game for Hawthorn, a magnificent milestone. In fact, milestones everywhere. Langford 300 for Hawthorn, Taylor 50, and for the Eagles, Evans playing his 100th, and Chris Waterman his 150th. There's Chris Langford lining up on Peter Sumich.
Salmon this time tries to take it out of the air. Crawford on 50. Kicks back towards the goal square. Coming through is McIntosh. He's got Rawlings to beat today. He's already kicked a goal. Hands and knees. Nick Stone back to McIntosh. Fumble. Rawlings taken to ground. Taken away by Guy McKenna, who kicks the ball to space, but running with a flight. Good mark taken by Harford. Started the season off well, Harford, but probably struggled a bit in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Quite possibly. Salmon style. That's a good mark, though, isn't it? It's interesting when the Rawlings-McIntosh situation, if there's a body-to-body duel, McIntosh will be too strong for the lightly built Rawlings, but here Rawlings was able to get a clear loop at the ball, and McIntosh arrived too late and couldn't spoil, and that's what Rawlings has to do. He has to time it, so he's jumping at the ball and avoiding the McIntosh body contact.
So Jade Rawlings just inside 50, going for goal number 2. Looks a good kick off the boot. He's just hit the post, just faded away. So 1-1 to Jade Rawlings. That's Hawthorn score 7. West Coast 2-1-13. And you can see there a little bit disappointed as Ken Judge looks on.
Signed on a long-term coaching deal contract with the Hawks, and ever since then they haven't won a game. They've certainly missed Nick Holland. He's missed 4 games and they've lost all 4. And today he was a last-minute withdrawal from Hawthorn's side, so are they heading for their 5th loss in a row? Out on the full, free kick Rodman. Good mark, Graham.
This is a good sign for Hawthorn. Already they've just taken those 2 or 3 marks in the forward 50. Now, obviously Rawlings just took one and missed the goal, hit the post, and now Graham, and that's what they've been missing in recent weeks, Hawthorn, the ability for someone to jump up and mark the ball in the forward 50. So it's a good sign for them.
This to level the scores from the man who's really made his name as a fullback. And offline. So it's 2 misses from set shots after marks in the last couple of minutes for the Hawks. Could be costly if it's to be a close game right to the wire.
Well, the signs have been good. They've had enough of the play on their forward line to suggest that this will be a game where we'll have a lot of contests and maybe not such an easy one for West Coast as we thought prior to the game. There's a good mark for Platten.
That is where a good little man has actually beaten a pretty good medium-sized guy, Platten against Morrison.
So he kicks the ball wide. Coming charging out was Crawford. Couldn't take it on the second grab. McKenna, cool, under pressure. Always got great presence of mind. Going to ground was Taylor. Thought he might have been legged. Ball came out wide. Schofield with quick hands to Simmons, enjoying a magnificent season. Comes away from half back and finds Gehrig. Plays well at both ends of the ground, Fraser Gehrig. They run to space looking for Sumic. Can he get there in time? He's got it. Went off in the game early last week against Fremantle when he was knocked out, carried off on a stretcher.
That was the difference between, we mentioned that pass earlier when Pritchard dropped the ball short of Rawlings. That time the ball was out in front of Sumic, and when he dived into the low chest mark, there's nothing that a fullback can do to spoil when it's a low diving mark.
Kicked 25 goals for the season, playing game number 10 for this year.
This is not Peter Sumic's angle normally. The left foot hook is part of his kicking style. Let's see if he can start it out and bring it back.
So Peter Sumic from 45 has pushed it across the goal face and through for a minor score.
I must say, if you're going to have a bet, that's where you would have bet the ball would have finished up because he just is a natural hooker with the ball, Peter Sumic, and when he's sort of hooking across from that kind of angle, it's not the kind of distance and angle he can keep the ball accurate.
Ilya Grigic on the bench, warming up. Looks as though he's preparing to come on. Here's Brett Heady, 75 metres out from goal. Concedes some ground to Lewis, who slipped over. That could be costly. Shane Crawford for the Hawks. Gave the hand pass straight away to Turnbull. Jakovic. Now Heady. Short to Sumic. Gets it to the ground for Cousins. But rode by Taylor for Hawthorn. Back to Johnny Platten. Straight up the centre of the ground. Want runners, Hawthorn. Oh, beautifully met by Guy McKenna. Down to Lewis. Kicked by Lewis to the 50. Evans the only chance. Oh, he got up pretty high. Pritchard gets it to the boundary line and is crunched in the process by Morrison. He looks at the umpire and said, that used to be a free.
Just a couple of the midfield matchups. Harford and Lewis basically look like they're paired. Woods is on Kemp, Pritchard on Evans. That is the main matchups in the centre square situations.
Ground level, Taylor going in hard was Harford. Got support from the Fish, who goes short, tries to pinpoint it. Running with the ball is Scott. Showed a lot of courage, got the bounce he wanted and strength. Comes away with the ball, gives it to Rodman, who can belt the ball deep inside 50. So it's one for the high flies. Coming out hard was Crawford. Matera paddles the ball long in front, wins it. It's a hurried kick back to the edge of the centre square. Turnbull in front. Marks in front of Lawrence. So quickly to Schofield. Some rebound football by the Eagles. Out in front, Gehrig. Got tremendous pace. Finds a lot of space. Kicks down looking for Sumic. As the ball thumped away, Platten at ground level in front of the pack like all good Rovers. Hand pass didn't really hit a target. Crawford will come away from half back. It's a poor kick. It's going to set it up for Matera. Maybe a bit of magic. It's got Graham to beat. Goes to ground. I thought he might have played for the free kick. Gehrig, a casual bounce. Kicks down, looking for Heady. Pushes the opponent out of the way. Crummell did well. Good body work. Simmons. Back to Heady. Hunting in numbers. Back to Kemp. It's a high ball. Turnbull should get there. Can't control it and takes it over.
Fraser Gehrig at the moment proving a bit of a problem for Jonathan Hay. He's had 6 kicks already and taken 3 marks.
It's a big task for the young fella. It's only his 3rd game of football, young Hay. He's yet to turn 18. I think he turns 18 next week. And Fraser Gehrig, a very good quality running player, even with the height of a key position player. So that's going to be a big job for Hay to hold him.
Lawrence wins in ruck. Ball comes underfoot. Pritchard works a very difficult ball out of there and finds the boundary line.
Obviously, Lee Hawthorn's made the decision to have Graham on the forward line and give him maybe a bit of experience up there, and gone with young Hay in the defensive post.
That's what they've done. And of course, Rodman playing centre half forward. Jakovic is picking him up, but Rodman's trying to push up the ground to bring Jakovic out of the half back line.
Clean possession, Salmon. Richard Taylor for Hawthorn. Wants support from Crawford. Actually, Taylor got his boot to the ball as he was going to ground. Taken by Schofield off to Simmons. And a diving mark taken by Tony Evans in front of Pritchard. In between wing and half forward. You saw the bench for the Hawks. It's Aaron Lord, Angelo Lekis and Shane Stevenson. Lawrence with one hand, not enough. Kemp taken down, didn't have the ball. Free kick, Dean Kemp.
Yes, it's interesting. What we saw ahead of the play there when the ball was kicked in by Evans, Sumic led straight up the field. It's very dangerous to kick the ball from the wing to the true centre-half forward position because obviously if the ball's spoiled, out she comes.
Here goes Heady on a lead. And Crummell looking about for reasons why he wasn't with him. But the fact was he was about 15 metres behind.
Well, they do it all the time, the Eagles. I mean, Sumic is their designated full forward. But here we see Kemp, beautiful kick of the ball. I mean, that is a perfect kick. Just waits it out in front of the looting Heady. But you find that Heady and Cousins and Lewis, players of that ilk, the medium-sized players, will often be the leading players dropping into space. And sometimes their defenders, their flanking-type defenders, just aren't quite as adept at blocking the lead as a full-back would be.
Brett Heady's had a good start as well. A couple of marks coming up for his 7th disposal. Lines up for goal. And that's another poster. So we've had 3 in the game already. Pretty hard to do, Lee.
Yes, it's very hard to hit the post if you're aiming at it. But unfortunately, sometimes you can aim at the goal. And of course, yes, very good kick for goal normally, Brett Heady. But on that occasion, couldn't get it straight.
Harford. Firstly goes straight up the ground looking for Salmon in front. Should have taken the mark. Ground level, Cousins. Salmon recovers. Going to the ground was Evans. Salmon did well, knocked the ball out of his hand and has it all tied up.
Well, listen, Salmon has been the form ruckman of this year probably, and he's plus 30. And we've got Michael Gardner, his opponent, who is minus 20. So you've got a good almost 14, 15 years different in age. So it'll be a great battle between those two.
Morrison been picking up Platten, kicks the ball back. Heady, good play by Crummell once more. Got a fist to the ball. Harford from half back. Tumbles the ball towards the boundary line. With Josh Wooden, Ilya Grikic on the interchange bench for the West Coast Eagles, along with Philip Matera. And we see Jason Dunstall sitting next to Kelvin Moore. A great full forward and a great full back. Salmon does well, kicks the ball back inside 50. Chick's got it. Much improved player this year. He's been good on the forward line. There's the lead from Rawlings. It's been ignored. Kicked 25 goals for the season, Daniel Chick. He's played every game. Just in his 2nd year of AFL football, he's been a big improver. From inside 50. Distance is there, not the accuracy.
Perfect conditions, but a combined total of 3 goals, 6 between them. A few set shots from inside 50 have gone astray. Admittedly, 3 have hit the post. McIntosh goes short to McKenna from the back pocket. He gets outside 50. And now up to centre wing. Platten coming from behind. He can take an overhead mark. Ball's out of bounds and we'll have a throw in.
Yes, of course, he's made his name as a rover, John Platten, but he is a player, small in stature, who does not get embarrassed in those marking contests. I mean, Morrison's much bigger and stronger, but Platten's still very competitive above his head, even though that's not the hallmark of his game.
Kick by Ryan Turnbull. Chopped off by Hay, but the whistle had gone. It's a free kick to Heady. It was interfered with by Crummell. Heady too far out to score. Lewis in the goal square and Sumich.
Good body use, wasn't it, by Heady? Just kept pushing back. Got the front position. Get the front position, you should get those little half free kicks.
Heady goes short to Simmons. It's chopped off by Scott. Well played by Scott. Little kick across the ground for Salmon. Can he get down there? Under pressure from Simmons. Gets the ball up to Robrin. Oh, the hand pass back to Salmon. Missed him. Oh, well done, the fish. Golly, that was great stuff.
That was tremendous play by Salmon, because he was behind his opponent here in Tony Evans, and that long arm as he went to kick it off the ground.
Yes, I think that's the situation where maybe Evans should have knocked it forward rather than try and kick it off the ground.
Salmon once more down to Lawrence, who taps the ball on. Crawford looking a touch sluggish today. We know he's got that foot injury. Pops in the air, too much carrying the ball for Evans. Stone goes to ground. They appeal for the free at ground level. Its ball's still hot. Simmons comes through hard and takes it over.
I mentioned a couple of times this contest between Jonathan Robrin and Jakovic. Jakovic, of course, missed a lot of footy early in the season, and he's been out just the last couple of weeks. Got the puff and blows at the moment because Robrin is just really running him covering a lot of ground in this bigger VFL park.
Eagles by 6 points, and once more they'll toss it back. There's Robrin on screen, wearing the famous number 10, made famous by his father, Barry Robrin. His brother also wears it for the Adelaide Crows. Salmon guided it down, but it was sharked by Kemp. Those quick hands to Matera under pressure. Can't find Turnbull. He finds the line instead. So Lawrence to bring the ball back. Kicks a high ball. Graham's a target. Playing in front with Stone. Did well. Crawford pinched it. Runs to 50. Once more he's off target. Running with a flight is McIntosh. So a couple of opportunities for Justin Crawford in this opening term have gone begging.
He doesn't really take that short step to get in, or that slow step to balance himself before he kicks the ball. Both times when he's had a shot at goal, he's missed because he's just hurried. Hasn't timed the contact by just not really making sure he's completely balanced on that delivery step.
McKenna short to Kemp. Left half back. Another half distance pass to centre wing. Bouncing ball well picked up by Gardner. Back to Kemp, who's running out of room. Now a bit more distance to half forward. Heady beaten by Crummell this time. And he was taken high by Evans. Umpire comes in, there's a word to Tony Evans, and that's 50. And Brendan Crummell, a former Eagle himself, not too good.
Let's have a look at this. Again, it's the body-to-body in the marking contest. Oh, gee. Might have hung a hand in there, Tony Evans, but it was very little, I would have thought, for a 50-metre penalty, although Crummell is in the hands of the trainer, so just the contact might well have been much more severe than it looked at the time.
Well, he's on his feet, we can see there in the box in the left-hand corner of the screen. Now, Pritchard's got the ball.
Something that only the people at the ground can normally do. See two bits of play at the same time going on. Let's have a look at it again. The free kick, the mark. And that was what the 50 metres was for.
He's going to be right to take his kick. Inside the 50. Didn't find a teammate.
Gee, there's a wall of players there. It was going to be pretty hard to pinpoint a pass.
McKenna. Matera. How about this from the back line, Peter Matera? But a poor old kick. No chance for Heady. Ball out of play.
15 plays 10. Peter Matera, magnificent game last week against Fremantle. Looking a little bit worse for wear. Salmon in front, guides it down to Taylor. We've seen that many times this year, and there's Robin marking once more out in front. Good 65, 70 metres out, goes looking for Jade Rawlings at the back. It's Crawford, he's got it. Now, it may not have been a set play, but Crawford read it well.
He certainly did. And again, Rodman there got out in front of Djakovic. Djakovic tends to concede the front position quite often, and Rodman's going to get in front all the time. And he marked the ball, and then really it was just Crawford who was able to keep his eye on the ball when it missed the hands of the two players who looked set to mark. Has had a bad foot, a stress fracture of his right foot, and kicking has been his problem. Let's see if he can put the pain out of his mind and kick it straight.
Yeah, great confidence booster for the Hawks. You can see the ball just wobbled off the boot, but I think it may have wobbled through. It has. So a great goal for Hawthorn. After the siren, you can see Mick Malthouse on screen. He'll be disappointed that the Hawks have hit back and hit the front at quarter time. But I tell you what, Lee, that kick off Crawford's boot, I think I said before, he looked pretty sluggish. I think he's in a fair bit of pain.
Yeah, there's no doubt he doesn't kick the ball comfortably with his right foot.
Well, the only time Hawthorn led in that quarter was after the siren. They lead by a point, 2-4 to 2-3. Start of the second quarter, and clean possession taken away by Paul Salmon. He works up towards half forward, cleverly knocked on by Scott. Desperation by Graham, well played by Graham, but he gave it up to Kent. Oh, intercept. Chick, Scott. Taylor going goalwards. Good tackle by Dean Kent. Hand pass a bit high, but dragged in by Graham. Quick exchange. Salmon. They've gone backwards in possession, the Hawks. Under pressure. Kemp gets it from Gardner. And the kick by Kemp towards 50. Second touch, Gehrig. Open goal, 40 metres out, and Gehrig has kicked it. Well, it was the pressure back on the Eagles' half-back line where Hawthorn had it and were going backwards in possession. A turnover, bang, straight away a goal.
Well, certainly the tackle, wasn't it? He could have got the ball forward, Salmon, but the tackle was good from Schofield. That set it up. And then Kemp, and Gehrig is so quick at ground level. See, you get the ball that first few steps, he accelerates clear. Couldn't quite straighten up, but was able to hook the ball comfortably straight through the middle, and he's giving them problems, young Hay. Gehrig started the ball play well, and is in top in that position, had 7 kicks already.
I noticed, Lee, also that Shane Crawford has left the field at quarter time. John Russo might be able to check on the condition of Shane Crawford. We did note that when he kicked that goal after the bell that he just made the distance, and maybe that stress fracture of the foot is just proving too much for him at the moment. Cousins comes forward for the Eagles. Sumich has got Langford to beat in game number 300. Twisting and turning, gets around Langford, comes back onto the right boot, kicks to the goal square. It's a great kick because Gehrig with that magnificent pace has made ground. And that's a problem, no doubt, for Hawthorn. Fraser Gehrig up on the forward line.
Well, he's a problem for everybody because Gehrig is one of those, as we've mentioned, a key position player with enormous pace. And really, he just, Sumich was able to just drop Langford off and kick it in. And Gehrig marked it in goal.
Crawford off the ground. John Russo?
Yeah, look, Drew, he certainly limped while he was coming off the ground, so I'm sure it's that foot injury is just persisting and giving him a lot of trouble. Ken Judge was very critical, given that he felt that the way they performed in the first 15 minutes of the first quarter was probably due to the nerves of the occasion. Mick Malthouse, on the other hand, was very, very calm and controlled and spent a lot of time praising Fraser Gehrig, who really did dominate much of that first quarter.
Djakovic's kick sits up beautifully for McKenna. On he goes to Stone. Schofield. They've worked it beautifully. In fact, the Eagles dominating at the moment. Back to Schofield. Got it from Cousins. And here's Gehrig. He's got his second opponent. And he's carrying on his merry way.
I would think, Lee, that maybe Mark Graham might have to come and pick up Fraser Gehrig.
Well, the way the game is going, I mean, you try to kick a score to win the game, but I must say it was a gigantic task for a young guy like Jonathan Hay to pick up a very, very good player in Fraser Gehrig. I mean, Gehrig is probably the most dangerous of the Eagles marking forwards, really, and the youngest Hawthorn defender was given the task.
Well, this is for his third goal in the quarter. He's done it in 3 minutes.
The other good attribute that Graham has as a defender, Lee, is that he runs down the ground and he drags his opponent a long way from goal. And he's actually kicked goals this year playing at full back. 33 plays 16, 3 goals to Fraser Gehrig in this second term. What a great opening it has been for the Eagles. McKenna looked like he was held. No free kick, does well. Tries to get the ball away, taken to ground by Chick. Chick wants the free kick, appeals for it. He'll get a ball up.
There's that mad situation with Graham. It is robbing Peter to play Paul, isn't it? I mean, Graham has looked a bit dangerous across half forward. I think Ken Judge is sitting in the coach's box at the moment, almost doing the equation in his mind. Do I take him out of the forward line or try and score to win?
So 7-1 the tap. McKenna once more hurries the kick back. It's been marked by Gardner. Well, the #1 draft pick has tremendous reps on him, and over the last 3 or 4 weeks has looked the goods. One young gun to another in Cousins. He's had a few injuries this year, missed about 6 weeks with a knee. He's copped a couple of heavy blows, including at the opening bounce last week. Here's Fraser Gehrig again. This time he's a long way out from goal. It's a good 2 kicks. Pops it up towards centre half forward. Sumic in front. He's got it.
Yes, this game has been broken open at the moment, isn't it? I mean, all of a sudden, this may be the patch of the game that could decide the match. Hawthorn were very competitive in the first quarter. But just this early 5 or 6 minutes of the second quarter, it is the Eagles that are doing all the attacking. And Sumic kicks this. There's a 4-goal margin. All of a sudden, it's hard to make up.
And for all those who fancy themselves as a coach, that's what happens when you coach. You get a bit upset. Sumic from on 50, so distance won't worry him. Looks like he's drilled this right through the centre. What a start by the Eagles.
Goals to open this quarter by the West Coast Eagles, and Hawthorn scoreless and have hardly been forward at all. Up towards the 50. Hawks here in numbers. Chick. Ball taken away by McKenna. Then Chick interfered with him. No whistle on the play. Now there is. And the umpire will come in and ball it up. Gavin Dorr. Malthouse looking a lot more relaxed than his counterpart. Dorr, Ellis and Forbes, the umpires in charge today. A lot of players around this. Salmon wins it, gets it to the 50. Robin attacked it very hard. Djakovic, beautiful hand pass back. Morrison round the corner. Heady, great hands, Brett Heady. What a kick, turned it.
He's on centre wing. So he kicks back. Gehrig was the target. But Leckers has got the 3. He's just come onto the ground, so he's got the big task of picking him up. Here's Graham. Tapped the ball forward. Turnbull took it. Been pinched by Robin. Tries to kick the space. He's looking for Platten. Good play by Djakovic. Got his hands on the ball. Comes back to Platten, who can go short. Chick. Rawlings out in front. Chick will be the crummer. He can rocket the ball across. Chance for Lord. Gets it back to Chick. Point blank range. Popped it through. Now Simmons believes he's touched it. It's a goal.
Well, I must say we had a better view than that from the camera position. Have a look at this. The good crumbing position by Chick. He got the ball. He gave it off. And then he just followed it up, and this one he steered it through, and we could follow the ball, and we saw it curl from left to right. It may have been touched off the boot, but unless it's a very severe contact on the ball, those incidental touches tend to be overlooked. They're too hard for the umpires to adjudicate.
Well, that was the Hawks' first score for the quarter. Still 17 points down. Salmon made a slow start, but going all right now. He's hit out, intercepted by Kemp. Heady running onto it. And behind the play, Sumic and Cromwell came to grips.
He actually was trying to shepherd. Sumic was trying to protect Heady and shepherd Cromwell, but he actually grabbed hold of his arm on the way through, and the umpire saw it. And have a look at this. Just grabbed his arm to try and shepherd. Free kick.
Djakovic punches into a big pack. Waterman. Pritchard over centre wing. Funny old bounce. Kemp. He said he was pushed. Free kicks against Dixon. And just as we were wondering, maybe is it out of bounds deliberately, Kemp gets the free kick.
So Kemp from centre wing pops it up, looking for Turnbull. Lewis held. No free kick. It's just flung off the ball. Platten. Picked up a lot of touches so far in this first half. Comes back to Pritchard. Just belts the ball back towards the half-forward line, but a free kick's being played downfield.
And that was caused by the frustration frustration. I think Lewis probably should have got a free kick for holding the man.
Definitely.
And the frustration after that, he went at Platten, and then, of course, the umpire was pinged. I don't know about the retaliator, but it's a free kick downfield for Hawthorn.
So Graham from the half.
Lee, you've just maybe interested.
Let's go down John Russo.
Yeah, look, Chris Lewis, I really feel, was doing the holding then. He certainly made it look as though he was being held, and it obviously looked like that from up there. But I think Chris Lewis was, in fact, doing the holding at the end of that incident.
Well, we see Lewis and Harford on screen, but the mark or the free kick's been paid to Peter Matera. So he feeds it off to McIntosh so they can transfer play to the outer side. McIntosh with that great pace will kick to space, but there's no one there for the Eagles. The race is on. Fraser Gehrig, this magnificent pace, got 2 to beat. Taps the ball out, needed a kind bounce, didn't get it. Scott feeds the ball off, runs it 20 metres across to Pritchard and made good ground. Half forward flank goes short, looking for Graham. The kick's a poor one. We've got a boundary throw in.
Stevenson preparing to come on for the Hawks. Approaching the midway mark of the second quarter, and the Eagles have dominated the early stages of this term. Ball flipped over the back. McKenna loses it. Stone the hand pass to Matera. Jakovic, defensive 50. Glenn Jakovic, having missed the last 3 weeks, kicks up short of centre wing. Oh, Heady, big climb, but couldn't take the mark. Ball on the deck, scooped up by Pritchard. In the direction of Robrin. Brings it to the front. Lightning hand pass. Comes out to Woods. Short pass. Justin Crawford, 49 metres from goal. But he had a couple of chances in the first quarter and flummed them. Salmon.
Actually, that's what Salmon's got to do a bit more of, I think, Lee, because he's playing on Gardner, who is an inexperienced player. Yeah,
he'll be trying very hard to get into the forward 50 and make himself an option, Paul Salmon, because I can tell you Gardner will be doing the same down the other end if he gets a chance. And Gardner's a pretty agile big ruckman we see there. Dixon being interchanged for Stevenson.
Dixon just 2 kicks. We've seen this routine from Paul Salmon plenty of times. Pull up the socks, put the ball between the knees, take a minute to kick for goal. He's kicked over 500 in his career, and this one is good.
Matera has now picked up Stevenson, and Waterman has gone back on to Justin Crawford. So 39 plays, 28. The Hawks, after being blitzed in the opening of this second term, have come back with the last 2 goals. Chick feeds it out to Salmon. Had a big influence on this second quarter. He's done well in the ruck here. Simmons controls it. Back to Kemp. Inside 50, Gardner. Well, he's got away from Salmon this time.
Well, that's what they both ruckmen will be trying to do that. I think it's modern football that ruckmen are much more comfortable in their own forward line than in the defensive 50. And the ball has been intercepted by Salmon, so on that occasion the umpire played time on, which is why the ball had to go back.
So Michael Gardner has kicked 6 goals straight this year, yet to kick a behind. So he must be a dead-eye Dick. This will test him. 48 metres out. Across the face of goal, the high flyer was Sumich, got his hands on the ball, couldn't hang on to the Sherry, and they'll toss it back.
And the records will say he's still 6 straight. Throw into the forward pocket. Eagles by 11 points after jumping out of the gates at the start of this quarter. Turnbull. Well, good tackle by Salmon. Last line of defence, Harford playing on Lewis. And he runs it through for a minor score to the Eagles.
It's interesting, went down the other end when Stevenson came onto the field and was interchanged. Matera came up and picked him up. From Hawthorn's point of view, I suspect they'd much prefer Matera back on Justin Crawford on the very last line of defence.
Platten. He's revived his career. He did spend a week in the reserves earlier this season. He's come back. Aaron Lord, who started the game on the bench and has pretty much totally lost form recently after going well earlier in the season. Big punch away by Turnbull. Well, there's a push out, free kick to Lawrence. I can't believe it, neither can Turnbull.
So Graham's his target. The high flyer, the big fist away was from Nick Stone at ground level. Platten will do the shepherding. So Lord pumps the ball back towards the point of the centre square. Coming out was Cousins. Haven't seen a great deal of him today. Chick goes to ground, gets it back to Salmon. Big influence in the second quarter. Tumbles the ball back inside 50. A chance for the Hawks. Jade Rawlings thought he had it, lost it. Taylor burrows in after the ball. Trying to get the ball as well as Crawford. On hands and knees. Robin flicked the ball out. Still a chance for Hawthorn. McKenna. Cool under pressure. He'll go long to Heady, who's made a lot of ground. Was a great option. Langford pushed in the back.
Yes, Heady saw the ball was coming long, but he had to lean on Langford. Instead of leaning, he actually pushed, and the umpire's right, got a free kick for that.
Chick did well from behind, had to go the punch. Taylor, tough in the clinches, out to Tony Woods. Got the big job on Kemp. Lord put the head down, just rolled the shoulders, got out of trouble, kicks the ball back. Now this ball's going to bounce into the goal square. McIntosh will run it through. Still got space, so he elects to come away. Kicks to Gardner. The youngster didn't get the bounce he wanted, so Salmon will do the shepherding. Gardner the tackling. Back to Salmon, the big push. Bit slow, looked a bit tired. Taken away by Morrison on the burst. Feeds the ball off to Heady. Here come the Eagles through the centre square to space. Sumich is a great build-up. Just can't quite get there. Sumich on the left boot. Can have a pot shot. Belts the ball in. And he's kicked a goal.
Well, Cousins has been bowled over again, this time by Langford, so he's taken a few knocks recently, but he's in the middle for. Salmon palms it down. Sharp by Kemp. Inside the 50 with his handball. Harford just gets it away. Pritchard lost it. Kemp again, out in front of Philip Matera. Lord. Ball flipped out to Simmons. 40 metres out. Short pass. And here's Matera. Kicked 4 against Hawthorn the first time they met this year. But this time he's across the face of goal. And a behind.
Yes, the coach's lot's a frustrating one, and Ken Judge, we can see there the emotion in the face when the turnover happened in midfield just prior to that Eagles push forward.
Obviously no left foot for Philip Matera because it was just a soda to go on the left foot.
Yeah, if he ran towards the top of the goal square, yeah. KB, pushing across on the left side would have been a certainty.
Maybe he can't kick left foot. Scott marks in front of Kemp. Goes wide to Pritchard. So the Hawks bring it to the member's side. Crummell, long arms, has got it. Go, go, Gadget Man. They just kept going up, up and up. Kicks long. Out comes Stevenson hard. Standing his ground in front was McKenna, Matera. Magnificent defenders. McKenna and Matera. And there's a good mark backing back.
Chris Lewis off. Wooden on for the Eagles.
Crummell. This is a dangerous hand pass. Got good distance. Harford. Back to Lawrence. Still under pressure. Bang. Tony Pritchard did well. Rode the bump. Good enough to get his kick away. Crawford has looked dangerous. Gets it back to Tony Woods, who pumps the ball long. So Rawlings in front. The fist away. Stevenson at ground level. Taken by Chick. Can feed the ball off. Scott. Into the goal square. The distance won't be there. It's been marked by Jakovic. Gets the go-ahead from Matera. Pops the ball short. It's a bad kick taken by Scott. Can run inside 50. This can hurt the Eagles. Scott's kick's a poor one. Now on the rebound, McIntosh can go short, looking for Fraser Gehrig, who traps it, then runs over the line.
Yeah, poor kick by Scott, but an even poorer kick and a choice of option by Jakovic. He's coming out, he's forced onto his left foot out towards the boundary line. He's brought the ball back in towards the centre corridor. Gee, it's got to be an accurate kick to do that, otherwise the turnover occurs as it happened.
Oh, Salmon again beats Gardner. Kick up and down the one spot just about. Robin goes back to Scott, who's had 2 shots at goal in the last minute. Ken Judge didn't like either of them. Centering to Platten, just forward of the centre circle. Kick by Johnny Platten is beautiful to Justin Crawford. 45 metres out. He pops it up short. Oh, ducked his head. Graham. Play on, says the umpire. Chick. Peter Matera. Waterman back to Matera. Haven't the Hawks had it inside the attacking 50 for no result in the last couple of minutes? Matera's kick. Platten interferes with Morrison and gives away the free.
A lot of wasted opportunities for Hawthorn. Morrison short. Finds Philip Matera. Run down by Platten. Still got his kick away up towards the half-ball line. Now there's 3 against 1. Hawk should win out. Half it. Trying to set it up. It's a good kick. Pinpointed to Taylor. Into the centre square. Looking for Graham. Dropped the sitter before. Stevens at the back. Feeds the ball off to Robin. Runs to 50. It's a poor kick once more. Rawlings did well to handle it. And it was deemed a throw.
Well, if that was a throw, I suspect it was an accidental one, because there was no point in throwing the ball, but the umpire was actually paid that the quick hand pass was in fact too quick, and it wasn't legal.
Simmons loose on centre wing. Short to Sumich. He's kicked 2 goals, all in the second term. 3 goals to Fraser Gehrig. So it's a 2-man attack.
And what we've seen here is a free kick ahead of the play. As Gehrig was looking to lead, Lekis was holding on. The umpires paid the free kick. Lekis got the ball, dropped it. Now it's a 50-metre penalty. So instead of a probable goal, it is a certain goal.
Let's go down to Johnny Russo. What's your thoughts there, John?
Well, Kev, obviously the free kick has been paid by Gavin Dorr forward of the play, and then when the ball has been dropped, then obviously that resulted in the 50-metre penalty. Strictly speaking, that's in accordance with the umpire's instructions, so he has to do that. So Fraser Gehrig now lining up for a very easy goal from straight to front. Incidentally,
well, the senior players of Hawthorn there, Chris Langford and John Platten, really having good long chats with the umpires about that free kick and the 50-metre penalty, which made it a certain goal to Gehrig. He's kicked 4 for the term. Gardner clean possession, gives it up to Robin. Through Woods it goes. Lord, Harford. Kicked by Harford. They've been here a heap of times in the last 10 minutes, Hawthorn, and have absolutely nothing to show for it.
That would have been frustrating for Ken Judge, because they've had the opportunities and it goes straight up the other end, Drew, and they kick a goal straight away, the Eagles. So Waterman, playing his 150th game today, finds Chris Lewis back on the ground. He's had a magnificent season, Chris Lewis, and then came back in good form after being suspended, as we see the ball fisted over the line.
Don't forget Talking Footy on Monday night, a must for you serious footy fans. Special guest Robert Walls, hosted this week by Jared Healy. Talking Footy Monday on 7. Salmon against Turnbull. It comes to Brett Heady, who breaks from centre wing up to half forward. Lekis left Gehrig, which is a dangerous thing to do the way Gehrig's going, and the ball finished up out of bounds. Angelo Lekis, who had to come on and replace Jonathan Hay after Gehrig just absolutely went mad up until about the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. He'd had 6 marks, 10 kicks and 3 goals to that stage. He's added a 4th. Here's Aaron Lord over the wing. Jakovic punching away from Robin. Lawrence, went through with the elbow up. You don't mind. And gives away the free.
Yes, he had the ball, Lawrence, but the right hand, as we saw, high contact and an obvious free kick.
Headed to Jakovic, who pumps the ball inside 50. Sumich has kicked a couple. Langford playing game number 300 today. Comes out to Schofield. He's got good skills. It's a high ball towards the goal square. Backing back was Philip Matera. Through for a behind. Schofield on screen. Playing game number 44 today for Jared Schofield. He's played 15 for the season. So Crummell to bring the ball back. Goes short, finds Taylor. 28 plays, 54. 4 goals to Fraser Gehrig, 2 to Peter Sumich. Just all single goal kickers for the Hawks. Tony Woods comes away, goes wide, looking for Langford. Should be too tall for Philip Matera. Hasn't been paid. Matera does well at ground level and ties it up.
It was a good effort by Matera to spoil a marking contest. And I think I was watching the umpire when that happened, and the umpire put his whistle to his mouth to think, should I give Matera a free kick? Didn't think he should, and that's the instinctive nature of umpiring. Nothing wrong with that. You can only back your judgment. That's what the umpire did.
Salmon, who's got on top, getting his hand on the ball. Dean Kemp.
And I think this is the double teaming you would think would have happened. Gardner is coming off the field, and Gehrig, Gehrig, I should say, is coming on to play. And the double teaming against Salmon is going to really test the big Hawthorn follower.
And Lawrence just belts the ball back over the line.
Young Jonathan Hay there, closest to camera, who found Gehrig far too hard to hold in the first quarter and a bit.
And it was interesting, we mentioned about Justin Crawford. In fact, Stevenson has gone back deep. I think it's partly just to make sure Peter Matera's on the last line of defence.
Kemp gets it across to Heady. He can give the ball back to Schofield to run inside 50. Just a minor score to Schofield.
Now, you blokes who kicked a lot of goals between you, there's been about 9 shots at goal in this game that should have been absolute lay-down certainties.
Yes, there hasn't been a great surety of finishing today, KB, and those. Maybe that was a situation where Schofield seemed to get balanced, but maybe the guy coming at him affected the attitude of the kick.
Hawk supporters thought it should have been a free kick to Lawrence, and he's been paid it. In fact, it's going back to Morrison, so look at Lawrence. He's got his... Yes, he has got it at last, because Chad Morrison went back and was given the ball, so now they've paid 50 against the Eagles. Lawrence stood there with his arms wide, saying, what's happening? Eagles by 27 points. Lawrence to the half-forward line. Graham's the target. Haven't got anyone really to take a big grab on the forward line at the moment. Langford, a long way down from full back, rockets the ball wide. Graham tried to trap and was caught high.
Well, Langford was in the play, gave the handball, and he's jogging back to position. He's dragged Sumich way over the centre, come right up the ground.
Yes, more and more as footballers got into the 90s, we see defenders charging forward when their team is in possession and dragging the opposition forward into the other end, opposite end of the field.
And this is very kickable for Graham. He's pushed it across the face of goals. So it's one for the high flyers at ground level. Lewis pounced on it. Been taken away by Taylor around the corner. Matera comes away. It's a beautiful kick on the left side towards Heady. It favoured Heady. Crummell, the time clock ticking away. Good time left for Hawthorn. Didn't hit a target. Lawrence goes to ground. Kemp did well. Made ground. Heady. Great tackle by Crummell. He's forced the ball up. With just over 30 seconds left in this second quarter.
Well, there was a period in the game at the start of this quarter where the Eagles just busted it wide open. Have the Hawks the firepower to get back in. At the moment, they trail by 27 points. Crawford. Brother Shane kicked a goal after the quarter-time siren. Can Hawthorn get one after the half-time siren? I don't think so. It's out of bounds on centre wing. In fact, not out of bounds. It's going to be a free kick against Lawrence. So the Hawks certainly won't get another one after the siren this time. Schofield had taken it. Maybe the Eagles can add one more. No. There's the siren for half-time. The Hawthorn crowd not very happy with the umpires, and either is acting captain John Platten, who's gone over to umpire Michael Forbes here at half-time. Gavin Dorr joins in. Now, player's not allowed to touch an umpire. What about the umpire touching the player? And you rarely see Johnny Platten going off like that, Lee. Hawthorn definitely not happy.
Well, I didn't see it. What about you, John? What do you think of it from down there?
Well, look, the free kick was paid against Stephen Lawrence for that contact. It was certainly within 5 metres of the ball. If it was beyond 5 metres of the ball, then the umpire should have reported him. The fact that he just paid a free kick has absolutely got me astounded, because, I mean, I'm within 15 metres of that incident, and it would have only been 2 or 3 metres from where the ball was. As you can see, it's very, very close to where the ball was. It's not beyond 5 metres. Unless the contact is to the head, then I don't consider that is unfair or illegal. And I believe the Hawthorn players have rightly jumped up and down. I mean, I can't see the replay you're seeing, but I certainly didn't notice that there was any contact to the head. The only thing I can think of for him paying that would have been for the fact that it was off the ball, but it was within 5 metres, so there's no problem.
I think the replay absolutely agrees with you there, John Russo. Nothing illegal about the contact, but it was just how far off the play. But Johnny Platten, well, in over 250 games, you haven't seen him do that too often to the umpires. He's entitled to. He's the acting. Shane Crawford still on the bench for the Hawks. He's been there since quarter time.
Jade Rawlings also on the interchange bench.
And Jonathan Hay as well. Salmon wins in the middle, but it comes to Simmons of the Eagles. Woods, well played. Kick by Tony Woods, landing 40 metres out. And here's a mark for Justin Crawford at the back. And if he can start with a goal after that mark, that'll be just what the Hawks need. A goal within the first 30 seconds. Tony Woods has been pretty handy.
Well, and I think the umpire must have thought seriously about whether that was a shove in the back, but certainly the mark was taken.
Kick by Crawford. It floats, it holds, it gets there. Margin back to 21 points. And a good start for the Hawks.
Well, it certainly is. One of the things that's gone hand in hand with Hawthorn the last month is they've had very poor second halves. So they're going to turn that around. That's not going to be something that's going to last forever. So just maybe they'll steel themselves for the effort. Again, as Stone came up, Crawford leant into his back. Stone lost the balance. But Crawford mark and goal to keep Hawthorn's morale going early this third quarter.
They'll lift Justin Crawford's confidence because he's had a couple of chances early in the game. He was a bit over-anxious. The goal now next to his name will certainly lift the confidence. All tied up inside the centre square. And we can see Richard Taylor just rolling on the ground, holding his head. .55 plays 34. Back to 21 points. Salmon for today has taken on Turnbull, Grikic, and also Gardner. Chance for Stevenson. Ball is tapped back by Matera, taken by Waterman. He pumps the ball out wide. Morrison runs with the flight. He marks in front of Platten. And Platten very upset at half-time over that incident concerning Stephen Lawrence. Chad Morrison, one of the young guns for the Eagles, kicks the ball wide. Salmon too tall even for Turnbull. The big fish. Centre wing. Hawks need a couple of quick goals just to lift the confidence. Too much carrying the ball for Robran. McKenna at the back thought he had it. Dixon, quick hands back to Platten. The Rat shovels the ball off to Pritchard, taking the ground by Evans. Woods had a big duel with Kemp. Still a loose ball. The Eagles got the numbers there. Turnbull put his body over the ball. Woods is hanging onto his arm. Did it well. Gives it back to Platten. Here come the Hawks. He goes short. He finds Graham. Gives the ball back to Robran. This is a big play for Hawthorn. It's missed. And a bad miss.
Yes, and Graham has actually pushed in to play on the full forward line for Hawthorn, and he would have been sort of the left foot in, as we say, if he'd had the shot at goal, but he's given the ball to Robran, and I suppose a player calls you give it, but it was a much more acute angle, and Robran wasn't able to keep it straight.
Well, Hawthorn's 5 goals 5 doesn't look like bad kicking on the score of it, but so many misses altogether. Jakovic outnumbered 2-1. Comes to Evans, bit of a juggle. Then a left footer over centre wing. And Crummell did well to leave Heady and take the mark. Brett Heady's been a danger. Back to Crummell. Platten getting plenty of it. Pritchard. Gee, that's a long way home at Waverley. And Tony Woods has it out at centre wing. Breeze mostly across the ground, so that's the defensive side. Down goes Robran, and sweeping up at the back guy McKenna. Simmons in front. Comes to the back, chance for Turnbull to run onto it. Out wide he goes to Kemp. 65 metres out. Oh, here's Gehrig again. And Lecker's caught 5 metres behind.
There's some good kicks in the game, but Dean Kemp's pretty solid either side. Have a look at this pace.
Gehrig. Straight around Leckis, the man on the mark. This for number 5. And across the face.
But a great skill is to weight the kick so that it allows the teammate KB to run into the ball. And
absolutely.
Kemp's able to do that to perfection, hasn't he? Just beautiful, soft contact with the ball, just allowed Gehrig to just move into the line.
Just impossible to punch the ball away when you don't have to break stride. It's been marked by Simmons. Been one of the Eagles' best this year. Terrific last week against Fremantle. Just cannoned into Robin then. So Sumich on the lead. He's booted 2. Simmons pops the ball in the air. Hawthorn's mark by Scott. So in the end, the kick was a poor one, plus there's 50 metres.
Yes, just late there, Peter Sumich. It was just unnecessary, wasn't it? It's one of those things that I'm sure Mick Malthouse is very unhappy about, because it's one thing to concede the mark. It's another thing to put the opposition 50 metres down the field.
So Scott pumps the ball wide. Morrison from behind, he left Platten, couldn't take the mark. Platten at ground level, barrels in after the ball. The Rat back to Stevenson, who can kick a goal. Kicks the ball long. Deep into the forward lines, hits the goal square. Salmon there, pushing and shoving. Needs a bounce to the ball. It comes back to McKenna. Kicked out of his hands by Rodram. Got Jakovic to beat. That's hard. Just rolls the shoulders with brute strength. Comes away. Kicks the ball back towards the boundary line. Great defensive play by Jakovic. And nearly a wasted opportunity for Hawthorn.
Well, they're pushing hard now, Hawthorn, but they still really haven't been able to find their way through the Eagles' defence. And the whole game's been a bit like this. Again, this situation here, dropped off the tackle. Very strong player, Jakovic. Wobbles the hips and the tackler falls off.
Here's Lewis. The ball knocked out of bounds. But
as I was continuing to say, I mean, the whole game Hawthorn have been in the game in general play, but they're just having trouble getting their forward line functioning. And this early part of the third quarter, they really jumped into the game with plenty of aggression and spirit, but they're going to be able to find a way through to score goals to win the game.
Yes. Long since Jason Dunstall out for the season. Also, Nick Holland was selected during the week but didn't take his place, so he's missed the last 5 in a row. Down on the boundary line, John Russo, fill us in.
Yeah, we've got Mark Graham on replacing Jade Rawlings after the half-time break, and Michael Gardner replacing Philip Matera after the half-time break for West Coast Eagles.
And I dare say, John, that there's a big doubt whether Shane Crawford will actually come back into the action.
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, Kevin, he was certainly limping noticeably, so I'd be very doubtful as to whether he'll come back on.
So, been decimated. Hawthorn take out Holland, Dunstall, lose Crawford at quarter time. Chris Lewis, not a great kick up towards half forward. Leckis this time in front of Gehrig and beats him. The hand pass not great. Gehrig still in the play. And an Eagle bowled over there. Simmons was their free kick, advantage to Lewis. He goes long. Sumich with Langford. Free kick to the man in front, Chris Langford. Peter Sumich kicked 2 goals in the second quarter.
Yes, I think it's important, isn't it? I mean, he's out of position there, Sumich, but don't give away the free kick. He's given away a 50-metre penalty. He's given away a free kick when just bring the ball to the ground, let your small players start again.
Great roving by Lord. In front of Salmon, comes away to the edge of the square. Kicks long, deep into the forward line. So a chance for Hawthorn, but this West Coast defence is an absolute ripper. Jakovic to Stone, goes short. The diving mark is taken by Gardner. Held up by Robin. Good defensive play. 56 plays 35. So they lead by 21 points, led by 27 points at half-time, and trail by a point at quarter-time, the Eagles. Until Gehrig booted 4 goals in that second term. Woods weaved his way through. Got a chance to kick the ball long into the goal square. This could bounce through. It's a great kick. It's going to bounce. Taken away by Matera. The bounce was just a bit too high. He needed the ball to run, and Matera comes away with that casual loping style, trying to set it up. Kicks the ball back towards Kemp. Got that wonderful touch. Good play once more by Woods. They've had a great duel. Evans, numbers wins out. Kicks the ball back. Here's Simmons covering a lot of territory from one side of the ground to the other. He's on the burst. made the error, but had the backup in Morrison, who belts the ball long. Chance for Turnbull. Can't quite get there, and taken over through for one behind by Stephen Lawrence.
Margin 22 points. So the Eagles haven't managed a goal in this quarter, but Hawthorn have kicked just one. So it's been a low-scoring slog.
So Rodman again, always pushing up the field, trying to make Djakovic chase him, and has done that job fairly well.
It's a good kick by Rodman. Pritchard. Aaron Lord, forward of the centre circle. Graham gets underneath it. Chance at the back for Dixon. Stevenson tackles, and they sandwich McKenna. The umpire will ball it up.
Another wasted opportunity then by Hawthorn.
Yes, it was just neither either in a way by Lloyd. He didn't quite get close enough to kick the goal. He really had to try and break the 50-metre mark because it's very hard to mark against any of these Eagles defenders.
Two-handed by Gardner out of defence to Schofield. They needed Dean Kemp's soft little kick that was given a few minutes ago. That's just what they lacked then. And the mark just inside the line by McKenna. Well, he didn't complete it inside, so it's out and a throw-in.
It's what we're really seeing is, I mean, a 50-50 chance isn't enough for the Hawthorn forwards at the moment. The Eagles' defence is too good. The kicker has to be able to give them a 60-40 chance of that kind of nature, and Hawthorn have failed to be able to do this.
Gardner to Schofield to Lewis. So some quick hands, sees the ball with Waterman, kicks the ball to space. This is a great kick because Heady can run onto the ball, finds a few extra metres as he put it out. Hawthorn fans thought it might have gone over the line on the full.
I've got to feel it might have been, but the poor old boundary umpire, he started in the back pocket, so he was caught 100 metres behind the play, so impossible to be certain what happened there from the boundary umpire's point of view.
I think 5,000 people saw it better than the man who counted.
I don't think they get a say, Drew.
Lawrence and Turnbull. Lawrence slaps the ball down to Platten. Been handy today. Kicks a high ball back towards the half-forward line, and Rodman does very well to force the contest and the boundary throw-in.
I'm tipping it won't make much difference in the overall.
16 possessions to Johnny Platten, 3 marks. And Woods in his duel with Dean Kemp has had 14 and 3, and Dean Kemp 17 and 1.
His Cousins has been pretty quiet today. Round onto the right foot to centre half forward. Sumich and Langford. Suma's after it. Aaron Lord's had a good third term. Most of the game on the bench. To centre half forward. Matera, good mark. Back to Morrison. Here's Gehrig. Oh, he's got it again at half back this time. The man who's kicked 4 goals in a quarter.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's a 22-point margin to the Eagles, and Hawthorn are playing well, but it's like a lot of games against the Eagles. You can be playing well, but a 3 or 4 goal margin looks almost insurmountable because their defence is just so strong.
Gehrig's taken 8 marks, 13 kicks now. Cousins.
He's on centre wing. Just had the 6 kicks today and 3 marks. A couple of heavy knocks as well. Kemp, big duel with Tony Woods. This is not a great kick. It favours Crummell, who's got it. So he feeds it off to Taylor. He wants to transfer the play, but he's got a one-on-one contest on the outer side of the ground, so he ignores that and brings the ball back to Langford. That was clever play. Good decision-making as Langford pumps the ball back. Here's Dixon out in front. Youngster from Assumption College. Cousins, look away, hand pass to Simmons, goes very short. Good use of the ball under the conditions. They're under a bit of pressure then. Schofield, no one on the mark. Goes to ground court. Hawthorn fans want the free. Woods is all tied up by Evans.
And Johnny Rosso, prior opportunity?
Well, yeah, I couldn't tell whether he actually successfully handballed the ball then, Drew. If he successfully handballed the ball, no problem. If he didn't successfully handball the ball, then yes, you're right, he should have been penalised for incorrect disposal because he did have a prior opportunity.
A lot of hard work by the Hawks for little gain. Certainly is a tough contest. Lawrence on the tap. Cousins has it taken away by Lord. Has done very well in this third term. Taylor, always a hard worker. Tumbles the ball back. Playing in front is Jonathan Hay onto the ground. Gives it to Harford. Back to Chick. Back to Harford. Needed a bounce. Got it. Weaved his way through magnificently. Daniel Harford runs to the point of the square. He'll run to 50. He's trying to set it up short. Looking for Crawford, and he's got him.
Yes, wasn't a good vision there by Hawthorn, because he was outside 50 metres. It was going to be hard to kick the distance, but good enough to just break his stride, run the ball. Very good play, this. Have a look at this. He says, what am I going to do? He sees Crawford dropping in short and sets up a set shot at goal.
Crawford from 45 metres. This is an important kick, and he's kicked it. Hawthorn's back in this.
And 300 gamer Chris Langford has gone off the ground for Hawthorn. Jade Rawlings has gone to Sumich at full back. So with Crawford off, Langford off, Coach Ken Judge has put it in the hands of the youngsters now. Here's Turnbull, just forward of centre wing. Kick by Ryan Turnbull inside 50. Gehrig with Lekas. Gehrig couldn't miss in the first half. Out of defence by Pritchard. Harford set it up brilliantly before. Salmon, Woods. They've really lifted now, Hawthorn. Sweeping hand pass by Woods to Graham. Mark Graham not too sure. Then kicks to half forward. McKenna in front, and he gloves it beautifully.
Terrific player. McKenna plays in front. The ball drops short. Very hard to beat him. Gardner wants to feed it off to Lewis. Didn't quite able to draw the man. Hay forces the kick to be a poor one. Crummel. And a big duel with Heady does well. Slaps it up to Hay. Quick hands back to Lawrence. Wants to paddle the ball across to Lord, who's been very good in this third term. Several players are lifted. Lord's one of them. Harford's another. And here's McKenna. Well, just can't penetrate this back line. McKenna is magnificent back there. Let's go down to Johnny Russo and find out what's happened to Chris Langford.
Yeah, well, as we saw, he actually took himself off the ground and he's gone straight up the race. Suspected hamstring, so if that's the case, he certainly won't come back on. But that's the suspicion at the moment, that he's got a hamstring twinge.
Of course, he came back today. He hurt his hamstring, has missed a couple of games. And, well, when you don't train for 8 months, in normal football, you'd reckon your muscles are going to pay the price eventually.
Waterman on the half-back flank. Another milestone player, 150th game today. Waits. Finds Simmons. Still on centre wing. Gehrig makes a lead. That's been ignored. Now he goes short to Gehrig. Lekas is there with him and forces the ball over the line.
And you look round for experience in this Hawthorn lineup. And I suppose outside Platten, he'd look around and see Pritchard and this man, Steve Lawrence. Not much else. There are a bunch of kids out there at the moment trying to win this game for Hawthorn. Brett Heady runs onto it. Oops, took his eyes off it. Unbelievable. Crummel gets back there. Couldn't believe his luck. To Tony Woods. That could be a very important turnover in this game. 16 points the margin. Salmon to Graham. Hawthorn definitely coming back at the Eagles in this third term. Graham over centre wing. They need a big mark. Stevenson, he pitched it. Play on. Cousins, Schofield. Jared Schofield, one out is Heady with Crummel. Well, Crummel did well to body him out of it. And Lekas, hand passes back. Pritchard, across goals to Lord. And Aaron Lord, who started the game on the bench, is up to 13 possessions. Graham, Lord might get it back again. He does the shepherding for Graham. That's a beautiful kick to Taylor.
So Taylor on the half-back flank, making split. Ground there was Harford, got good support from Chick. So Harford on the burst, runs to the half-forward line, kicks back towards the true centre-half forward position. Oh, Crawford was hit hard that time by Cousins. Matera picks up, rockets the ball wide. Long and handsome, finds Gardner, so the youngster comes away, kicks back towards Sumich. In front of, down here is Graham, goes to ground. Evans, the crummer. Salmon backs back. So it's a game of defences in this third term. Hawthorn standing up well, kicks the ball wide, so on the rebound, Scott. Non-stop action at Waverley Park. Hawthorn having a real crack at the Eagles in this third term. Goes short, under pressure. Waterman for the Eagles, kicks the ball back to the half-forward line. Heady and Crummel, they'll be exhausted. They seem to be contesting everything across the half-forward line, and Heady's got it. Morrison's made a lot of ground. He's loose. Platten can't pick him up. So the youngster playing on the veteran. Good 55 metres out. Kemp's going back to the square. Goes short and finds Sumich.
with Hawthorn coming the way they are, I would be wondering whether Mick Malthouse might be just thinking. Daniel Harford has started to get some good possessions, and when he gets a bit of the ball, Hawthorn are going to be flowing. It's where the Chris Lewis, who we know has missed a lot of football, Harford is just getting clear. I'm sure Mick at the moment would be just considering, in fact, whether Lewis is the best matchup there for Harford at this point of the game.
So Peter Sumich with 2 goals, both coming in the second term. It's an important kick. They lead by 16 points. Hawthorn's had most of the action, but haven't been able to kick a goal. It's going to drop short, so it's one for the high flyers. Lawrence should punch from behind. Salmon nearly did the roving. Big pack of players, stacks on the mill. And the free kick's going to Lawrence. Altercation there with Lewis. Plays on straight away. Doesn't waste time. Back to Harford. Lee's just spoken about him. Chips the ball back to Taylor. It had to be good. Sets it up for Sims. Great smother by Leckers. Wonderful play. Taps the ball back. Sumich has got it. He's tackled. Back to Cousins. The young gun. Can he weave his way through? The tackling's ferocious by Hawthorn this third term. The ball is hot. No doubt about that. Back to Morrison. Rockets it wide. Finds Waterman. A cool head will prevail. And he finds Simmons.
Well, the Eagles look to be well in command at half-time, leading by 27 points. Well, the margin is still 16, but they're having a real battle on their hands now. Lead by Kemp, ignored by Simmons. Light breeze, but whatever there is, he's into it from over there. Kick by Simmons, holds up. Sumich, no hope. Salmon the mark. 2 number 4s got in the air, but Salmon read it beautifully.
And it was interesting, before the ball was kicked in, Salmon's opponent, Gardner, was standing on the 50-metre mark at centre-half forward, but the Eagles didn't use him, kicked it straight to his opponent.
Aaron Lord's had 8 possessions in this quarter, still 3 minutes to go to three-quarter time. And here's a free kick to Robin, back at left half back for the Hawks. Coming up for his 15th possession.
The obvious free kick. He's certainly come off. He's given Djakovic a tiring day.
Ball hits the ground. Chick. Back to centre half forward. Platten. Well done, Morrison. Well rode Scott. Here's Platten again. Crawford back to Scott. Goes the short pass. This is good. Rawlings.
Well, the Eagles haven't kicked a goal this quarter, Drew. Hawthorn have kicked 2. Now going to the 3rd for the term.
And it was interesting, that situation where, of course, when Langford went off, Graham was sent back to full-back, and Rawling has been giving another go on the full-forward line.
Hawthorn desperately need this to make it a 10-point game. 2 minutes short of three-quarter time. Kick by Rawlings. He's good!
Hawthorn within 10 points. 47 plays 57. Salmon and Gardner lock horns. Salmon knocked it out of his arms, taken by Scott. Down towards centre-half forward. Chick taps the ball on. Waterman kicks the ball to space. Platten versus Morrison. Boundary line wins out.
KB in this quarter. Hawthorn 3-1. The Eagles just 2 behind.
Chad Morrison on screen. He's had the job playing on Johnny Platten all day. He's had 13 possessions and 3 marks. Platten's had 17 and 3. Harford gets the ball back. So Hawthorn into attack. Big chance at the back of the pack. Schofield read it well. Now, this is a Hawthorn ball. They've got the numbers. Still under a minute and a half of action left. Pritchard trying to set it up, goes short and finds Stevenson. There's a raking left foot kick. So he's on his non-preferred side. They're saying kick it long. So Stevenson unloads. It's into the goal square. And there's Djakovic playing in front.
Then Djakovic, his 4th mark. 11 disposals. Matera out of defence. Schofield on his own at half-back. Had his leg taken out from underneath him after he got rid of it. Actually, a clash between 2 Eagles there. Stone gets Schofield to his feet. And in the meantime, it's Philip Matera just forward of centre wing. Well, Jared Schofield looked around and said, who got me? Good heavens, Nick, what are you doing? Kick by Phil Matera. Sumic can't mark. Nobody in the goal square, but he's hooked it far too far, and the ball out of bounds. Last 22 seconds of the third quarter. It's been all Hawthorn, and if they'd had value for money, probably they'd have been in front by now instead of trailing by 10.
20,517 fans here today to see the Hawks take on the Eagles. An important game for the Eagles. They have to win just to keep in touch, otherwise they'll be under pressure. Hawthorn, just a faint chance of still making it. Salmon has had a big game. Marks on the half-back flank. Chips it to Pritchard, gets the bounce he wanted, feeds it back to Harford. It's been good along with Lord. Their midfield players have had an outstanding third term. Siren sounds. It was a great third quarter for Hawthorn. Didn't quite get the score on the board for all of their play, but they held the Eagles goals in that third quarter, and they trailed by 10 points as Chris Langford, playing game number 300, is off the ground with a hamstring. Disappointing way to end your 300th game.
And there's plenty of motion in their play that quarter. Lord's been very good on the wing against Simmons. He's had 8 possessions. As I mentioned, Harford is starting to get the ball on Lewis, and he's such a good user for football, Harford. All of a sudden, they just are running a bit harder around the midfield, Hawthorn. They've not exactly got the scoreboard absolutely tumbling over in big proportions. It took a lot of good effort to kick their 3 goals, but they've certainly worked their way back into the game.
Well, 20,500 here and probably 20,000 of Hawthorn supporters, and they're really urging their boys on. And what a way for Langford to finish. I saw Stephen Kernahan finish his 250th last week in similar fashion. Now, start of the last quarter here at Waverley. Hawthorn fighting back in the third quarter, and Salmon wins the first hit out, but it goes to Simmons of the Eagles. He kicks to half forward. Turnbull there with Lawrence. Can't mark. Lawrence takes him to ground. Lewis tries one off the deck. Comes back to Chris Lewis. Pops it over the top to Phil Matera. Good kick. Matera playing on. Gehrig's kick 4. He's strolling in to go for number 5. Thank you very much. He's kicked them all at that end of the ground. 4 in the second quarter and 1 in the first 30 seconds of the last.
Well, what about the thing that started off that flowy? Have a look at this situation. Lewis kicks the ball off the ground. It could go anywhere. It goes into Taylor, but then back onto Lewis and then back into his path. That was just good fortune. And then when it got forward, have a look at the pace from Gehrig. Well, I wouldn't have liked to have been on the chase. There's not too many blokes in league footy would have picked up Gehrig when he was on momentum going like that, and his 5th goal has given the Eagles what they needed at the start of this last quarter.
And the thing I like about Fraser Gehrig, Lee, is that he utilises his pace. He does take on players. So the Eagles once more, Lewis with a kick from mid-air, ricochets back. Tony Woods dispossessed, taken by Cousins inside the centre square to Kemp. So the Hawks certainly have to just hold this early thrust by the Eagles. They held him goalless in the third term. Kicked the goal straight up in this last quarter. Lord, he's had a big game since coming off the bench. Been one of the catalysts in that great third term for Hawthorn. And so is this man, Harford. Winning a lot of the ball. Kicks it back to the half-forward line. Stevenson comes out and he's got it. So the lead is on from Rawlings. Platten's got Morrison to beat. Oh, there's a good mark taken by Gardner. He came across in front. Looks to have enormous talent. Kicks the ball wide, looking for McIntosh. Needs the bounce. Didn't quite get it. Rawlings does well. Gets the ball back. It's an open ball. Tapped on. Comes back to Graham. Rockets the ball to Stevenson's got to get rid of it quickly. Back to Rawlings. Couldn't handle it. Bundled over the line. Does well. Kept the ball in. It's still a live ball.
And that's what you have to do down there as the forward team. Eventually the ball up was drawn, but you don't want ball ups, you don't want out of bounds if you're the forward team. Keep the ball alive, and you never know what just might eventuate. As it was, Hawthorn made nothing of it, but it was good play by Rawlings.
Gardner trying to get it away from Salmon, and with assistance from Stone, they get the ball out. Mark Graham back on the forward line now for the Hawks after spelling at full back during the third quarter when Chris Langford went off. Salmon against Gardner. Comes to Stone. McKenna round the corner. Morrison, a bit of a juggle. He had it spent before he got it. Now surely that's over the line. Yes, throw in. Half forward for the Hawks. Eagles kick the vital first goal of this final term And the margin's 16 points.
Salmon takes it out of the air, gives it to Scott. So he pumps the ball back inside 50. Robin sets himself in front of Jakovic. The big fist away. Matera at the front of the pack. Jakovic with strength. Lewis, as his third time, he's supposed to kick the ball off the ground in this last quarter. Matera onto the left boot. Kicks back. Lawrence in front. The high flying. From behind was Turnbull. Kemp trapped it. He's got the runner and Philip Matera. It was a wonderful handball. Back to Heady. Some old heads prevail. Heady runs to 50. Kicks wide. Sumich sets himself in front. Should take the grab. Can't take it on the second grab. Leckers tumbles the ball to space. Now look at Fraser Gehrig. Will he take him on? He's booted 5. He'll trap the ball. No doubt about that. Gets around Leckers. Good tackle. Well done by Angelo Leckers. Danger there. And he's got the free kick as well.
A terrific effort there by Leckers. Into Scott. Gee, you wonder whether Fraser Gehrig should have been in Athens this weekend. The World Championships have been on. Here's Simmons. Just behind centre wing. Whatever breeze is mostly across the ground. Hardly worth talking about, really. Simmons kick. Short of half forward. Turnbull helps it on. Heady. Sumich in the chop. Can't take the mark. It comes to Richard Taylor, who has had a terrific season. Platt, this time in front of Morrison, and takes the mark. Centre wing, Robin unmarked. To half forward, Stevenson with Matera. Ball stays in for Stevenson. Ball off the ground, but straight onto the chest of McKenna. McKenna sets up to half forward. Morrison couldn't mark. Platten recovers. Chance for Justin Crawford. Brother Shane's been on the bench since quarter time.
Casual bounce when not needed, so he just tumbles the ball forward. There's a good mark by Gardner.
That's the second time Gardner has just gone at the ball and almost collided with a teammate because he's got his eyes on the ball. That's what you've got to do. Go for the ball. Forget about everyone else on the field. Teammates, oppositions alike.
Play the ball on its merits. Philip Matera from centre wing to Kemp. Great body work, just didn't quite hang on to it. Lawrence was hoping the ball would trickle over. They've kept it in, the Hawks. Taylor can feed it back to Lawrence, so it opens up to Scott. So Hawthorn continually come forward. Difficult to get past the likes of Waterman. McKenna. High flyers, Heady. Lawrence back to Scott. So now the Hawthorn back line standing up and being counted. Salmon, the big fish. He's played a great game, taking nothing away from young Gardner. Feeds it off. Here's Lord. An important player. He's run too far. No. Gets it across to Pritchard. Gets it to Stevenson. A goal here for the Hawks. On the big serves. He kept it. Hawthorn fans.
With each foot. He went one for the left, second for the left. Yeah. Well, back to 10 points the difference. Half at a difficult hand pass back. Schofield across the ground. He's slung. Whistle's gone. It's a Hawthorn free kick. I can't help you with that one. And it's to go to Justin Crawford. Crawford from the centre of the ground. Dropping shorts. Oh, excellent mark by Morrison. McKenna. Now, whistle off the play. It's 60 metres ahead of the play.
It was a holding the man decision up on the Eagles' half-forward line, probably 80 metres forward.
So the free kick goes to Phil Matera. He's driven it long. Sumich is there. Oh, you couldn't believe that. Bounced straight back over his head. Bit like McIntosh got one in the first quarter, and the ball is out of play. Well, if the Eagles lose this, they'll blame the shape of the ball.
Well, that's the one thing we know about football. An oval ball, it does have something of a predictable bounce, but I mean, Sumich had to go and meet it, but it landed on its point. Handle it up in the air, straight over his head. Frustrating game sometimes.
So we see Schofield gives the ball back to Lewis. Hurried kick on the left boot. Gehrig in front. It's been the key to him on the forward line. And there's a free kick.
That was just
It's been paid on.
It was just 10 metres, KB.
Sumich.
Just 10 metres.
I thought he was going to play the free kick.
Now, I think it's a quick kick out of the pack here by Matera. See it?
Yep.
Oh, boy, if it was 10 metres, it was just 10 metres.
If that was 10 metres, Lord ran 130.
To take a bit of pressure off the Eagles, Peter Sumich. They lead by 10. We'll give a bit of breathing space and make it 16. Directly in front. 40 metres out. And he's drilled it.
Now George Young, former state cricketer and St Kilda champion, who once kicked 9 in a game at Moorabbin. The umpire put the whistle away there. Handball flipped over the top to Lord. Missed the target, Harford. Wide to Platten. Goal for goal so far in this last quarter. Margin back to 16 points. Stevenson's been a handy acquisition coming off the bench. Gets around Peter Matera just. Kick by Stevenson to the goal square. 2 against 2. Oh, excellent mark. All-Australian Djakovic. 3-time best and fairest. You'd like to back him against the kids.
Goes short and finds Matera. Eagles by 16 points to Simmons. They set up the loose man. Kicks back towards the wing, Lawrence. Try to take a one-hander. Schofield momentarily held, driven into the ground by Platten. Great play by Platten. Bounces up, belts the ball back. Robin from behind's got it. So Hawthorn are still in this game. One of their best second halves for many weeks. Kicks the ball. High price check. With sensational grab. Up and away. And Daniel Checker's taken an absolute screamer.
Yes, he had the sit, didn't he, on McKenna. Caught under the ball. It was a matter of could he just judge and time his lead. Let's have a look. He got up there. Landed on his chest, brought it down. I mean, it was easy enough to say that he had the sit. But he had to have the spring and the balance to get up there, hold himself up there, and then bring the ball down. If he can kick this goal from that kind of effort, they're just the kind of things that can really lift a team.
The all-important kick to finish off a great passage of play. We'll hear the result from the Hawthorn fans if he puts it through. The wall tells the story.
Daniel Chick's eyes would still be watering after that mark, but he capped it off with a goal. 10 points the margin here. Justin Crawford, the hand pass out. It sits well for Woods. Up to Scott. Here come the Hawks again. They've struggled to kick 2 in a row. Dive, Rawlings.
It's an interesting player, Rawlings. Lee, he looks like he's got a lot of ability. He's so thin, so inexperienced, but he looks like he could play.
Yeah, pretty promising. He's so light at the moment that in body to body drills, he just gets knocked down the road. McIntosh is not that big and heavy, but he's too strong. But on that movement situation, he got to the front position. Under pressure, the ball will drop short. That's what happened. And Rawlings got there first.
A last-minute inclusion in the side for Nick Holland. He's going for his 3rd goal. Put me off with the roar, so that's 2 goals, 2 to Jade Rawlings. The margin, 9 points. Still plenty of time left, 10 and a quarter minutes.
Waterman on the half-back flank, down to Morrison, who's got away this time from Platten, who had to stand the mark. Chad Morrison, 14 possessions and 5 marks, finds Lewis, continually being booed by the Hawthorn supporters. To Heady, beautifully weighted kick. So they retain possession. The Eagles by 9 points, led by 10 points at 3/4 time, 27 points at half-time. Leckers takes the ball over. So Leckers now has had the job on Fraser Gehrig since halfway through that second term when Gehrig kicked 4 goals. He's kicked 1 since then. Taken away, held there with Scott. Should have got the free. Not paid. Yes, the ball's coming back. Had to be paid. Scott. Rodman's the target. Djakovic from behind. Went the punt. Gave away the free kick for holding.
A lead by Rawlings. It's in his direction. Pushed out by McIntosh. There wasn't the whistle on the free kick there. Now there's a push, and it's going to be an Eagles free to be taken by McIntosh. Goes short to Jakovic, who's spoiled by Robert. Glenn Jakovic from half-back. Too high for Turnbull. Lawrence got a hand to it. Kemp the hand pass out to Cousins. Lewis a good pick-up. Very well played into Cousins. Almost lost his shorts. Kicked by Cousins for Gehrig. Outnumbered. And Richard Taylor at ground level for the Hawks. Out to Pritchard. Gap closing by Schofield. Now a chance for Pritchard to run onto it. Oh! He just ran for the clash and had the clash. Schofield recovered quickly. Floats one to Sumic. Back to McKenna. Eagles by 9 points. 8.5 minutes left.
A big play, McKenna. High flyer was Taylor in front of Matera. Kept the ball in. Back to Langford. He went off with a crook hamstring in that third term. Thought Matera. Now make that McKenna. Takes the diving mark. Another great game by McKenna. Really beaten across halfback. He's on centre wing out of Waverley. Good 2 kicks from goal. Finds Heady. He's had a big duel with Crummell. 18 possessions and 5 marks. He's kicked the goal.
Cousins off for Evans.
Tries to pinpoint it to Fraser Gehrig, and he's got it.
And that was really the athleticism. We talk about his pace, but he jumped early. That's the main thing. He jumps early, jumps high, which means leggers can't possibly get the elevation to get up there to spoil. So important when a player gets the front position that he still leaps as high as possible to protect the ball into his hands.
He's taken 9 marks. He's kicked 5 goals, 2.
What event would he be in Athens?
Lewis
Catherine?
pushing and shoving there with Taylor on the lead. It's been ignored. So Fraser Gehrig from outside 50 unloads a big bomb. One for the high flyers. Sumic was up. Chance for Turnbull to snap a goal. And he's done it.
So it continues to be goal for goal in this last quarter. The Eagles got the first after 32nd. Hawthorn replied. Then the Eagles. Then Hawthorn. Now the Eagles again. Margin 15 points. Gardner clean possession. Jakovic. And gets it back from Schofield. Morrison. Great duel with Platten all day. Out wide to Heady. Brett Heady's kick to Evans, who's just replaced Cousins. Protects himself and takes the mark at half forward. Tony Evans, game 100 today. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench, just 7 possessions. Spoiled by Justin Crawford. Didn't get the ball out. Kent, well done. Scott met by Lewis. And Scott not getting up in a hurry. And the ball out of play in the forward pocket for the Eagles. 75 plays 60. Eagles in front. 7 minutes remaining.
West Coast by 15 points. Lawrence kicks the ball back where Platten wrestling with Morrison. They both go to ground. Schofield gets a push.
And the brown and gold supporters near the fence, they're erupted as one.
So he kicks the ball deep into the forward line. Sumic in front. Langford read it well.
Not bad for a veteran architect with bad hamstrings.
Well, he's been a great player. Kicks the ball back, Robin. Just couldn't hang on to it. Not enough purchase. Morrison. Back to Evans. So the Eagles pump the ball forward. Langford. Clean bowl. So danger here for Hawthorn. Leckers overruns the ball. Kemp at the bottom of the pack. It's tied up by Harford. We've got a ball up just 25 metres out from the Eagles' goal.
I was interested that Langford kicked the ball left foot from that marking situation. I think that's a fair indication, and obviously a natural right foot kick that might be a bit tight in that right hamstring.
Look at Crummell and Heady in the foreground. Here we go. They've been at each other all day. Lawrence, well done. The hand pass to Crummell. Fumble by Salmon could be vital. Working well inside 50, the Eagles. Leckers tackles Kemp. Well, I don't think it'd go down as a showcase of the game today, what we've seen. Certainly the mark by Daniel Chick earlier in this quarter stood out in this game like a lighthouse. But it has been a real contest. Hawthorn battling the odds. Came into the game having lost 4 games in a row. But they could still get up and pinch it. But they've had trouble kicking successive goals in this last quarter. They managed 3-0 in the third quarter. They need 3-0 from here to win. I suppose it's possible.
Half forward line for the Eagles. Still have that 15-point buffer. Lawrence versus Turnbull. Just snapped a great goal. Heady. It's a loose ball. Leckers, the tackler. Turnbull. Langford under pressure. Back towards Salmon. Good mark by Morrison. 70 metres out. They do it well, the Eagles. They create the loose player. Schofield gives it across to Stone. Well, Stone can run in and can have a pot shot from 50. The kick's a poor one. Still a chance to take a grab. Gehrig at the back. It's hit the point post.
And a Hawthorn player had moved up the field. Stone was a spare defender, but really we see it so often. He ran to the 50-metre mark. There's a bit of a dispute exactly what this is.
They're going to throw it back in.
I think the ball was touched onto the behind post, which makes it a boundary throw in. But as I say, Stone ran to the 50-metre mark. He could have ran further. If you can run to 40, much easier chance of scoring than from that 50. That extra 10 metres is a tough distance.
Throw in with the Eagles in attack. Turnbull gets it going goalwards. Kemp gets the goal to seal it. Well, Ryan Turnbull set one up and kicked one in the left arm. Also going off was Sumich, who followed the move of Langford. Chris Langford, the 300-gamer, is off again and will see out the game on the bench.
So the Eagles once more come forward. Taylor just drilled it straight into Ben Dixon. That right left boot, chance for Stone. Oh, great slips catch. West Coast by 21. Stone kicks the ball long. Out in front was Graham in front of Gehrig. Back to Harford. Rockets at the Lord. Both been good players today. Back to Woods. Had a big duel with Kemp. Scott. Lord runs on. Good play. Run down by Kemp. Great tackling. He's one of the best in the business. Check. Great mark in this last term and goal. Rodman deftly gets it across. Pritchard runs in. Platten could bang it through.
Argent back to 15 points. Salmon wins. They needed a rover there, Hawthorn. Woods lost it to Evans. Kick by Evans, a mighty kick just short of the goal square. Gardner interfering, and Graham will take the free kick. It's a real prospect though, Michael Gardner. Graham's kick to Platten, who kicked the goal, and here he is behind halfback, marking in front of the man who's been his shadow all day.
Been an interesting duel, that one. I'd say that Platten, in fact, has won that contest with Morrison.
Salmon at centre wing, Grigich just off the bench. Punches to the front. Woods for the Hawks. Floats one into Scott. Kick by Scott to half forward. Chick needs another mark of the year. But no, Guy McKenna wins.
Well, he's been magnificent. Guy McKenna to Jakovic. Back to McKenna. Back to Matera. With that pace, can set it up. Loves to take them on. Feeds it off to McIntosh. Back to Matera. So they've carried the ball from that last line of defence. Matera very short. Finds Gehrig. Schofield makes space. Plenty of space as he runs to 50. Kicks the ball long. There's a chance for Heady. He's got 2 to beat. He's got it. It was a great build-up from McKenna. Back to Matera. Then Matera carrying the ball.
As it was. It's the pace, isn't it? The pace of Matera, the ability to hold on to the ball and set up options. And that was a good kick by Schofield. He saw that Heady was heading in that direction. Got it out in front. He certainly had to earn the mark. Heady the high chest mark, something of a specialty with Brett Heady, an ability to leap and still mark it on his chest.
So Brett Heady going for his second goal, just checking the mark. 22 possessions and 7 marks today. So Heady will be shooting from 20 metres out and bangs it through.
Jarrett Schofield going to the bench for the Eagles in the closing minutes here. I'm not sure the time. We've lost track of time here. 39 seconds remaining on the clock, I'm told. So it'll be the Eagles' 6th win in 9 matches against Hawthorn in Melbourne. Simmons. Down goes Cousins. Lord up to Stevenson. Kick by Stevenson with penetration to Rodman. Good kick by Stevenson. But Rodman's still too far out to score. A lead by Rawlings and in short by Scott. Scott has it. Drifting up from defence. So Brad Scott looking for his first score of the day. It'll be all too late for the Hawks.
And been pretty useful too, Brad Scott. For most of the game he's been matched up against Ben Cousins, and has kept Cousins to an average game.
So while players around the ground shake hands, Brad Scott looking to kick a goal to make the final margin 15 points. Well, that's a backman's kick. That hasn't scored anything from about 40 metres. Chris Langford, a disappointing end to his 300th game. The Hawks have lost. He's pulled a hamstring again, and the Eagles have triumphed by 21 points and consolidate in the top 8. And final death throes for the Hawks. That's 5 losses in a row now for Hawthorn.
Yes, it would mean Hawthorn are out of the finals, even mathematically these days. And I don't think it was a terribly impressive effort by the Eagles, but it was so similar to so many games I've seen them play at Waverley Park. Here they come and they just grind it out. They've kicked 13 goals, not a high-scoring game, but just a good, tough victory.
Well, Chris Waterman today celebrated game 150. Here he is with John Russo.
Yeah, Chris, congratulations on 150 games and a good win away from home today.
Yeah, it was a handy win, and we knew they were always going to be there right at the end, so it was just going to be a hard slog, and we were glad to get the points.
Good to have Glenn Jakovic back.
Yeah, Jacko's a handy player at centre back. He has a bit of a presence out in the field, and he was very handy today.
You've won 4 and lost 5 away from Perth now. Do you feel as though there's any problem travelling, or?
Oh no, I just think just lately we've been getting a little bit back. I mean, early on the season we were struggling a bit, but we're starting to find our form now, I think.
Peter Matera, Chris Lewis finding a bit of form as well.
Yeah, the boys have been going well. I mean, you know, Louis missed a fair bit of footy this year, so he's keen to get back and make amends. And Rue's coming off an injury, so good luck to them both.
Look, the boys are going to go down and thank the cheer squad. So enjoy the 150th and well done. Thanks a lot. Catch ya.
Muddy Waterman there as the Eagles go down. And there's a real good little pocket of Eagles supporters down there. And I suppose with the national competition and the television coverage of the game, some of them might never have even been to Perth, but they've just liked what they've seen of the Eagles since they came in 1987. They have won 4 games away from Perth this year. And Hawthorn players applauding Chris Langford as he comes back out to greet the players in a tracksuit top. Sad end of the game for him, but 300 games in a magnificent career. And I don't know what the Hammies will take this, but they're going to cheer him off. Little John Platten and Big Steve Lawrence. That'll be lopsided. And the Eagles players have a couple of milestone players of their own.
And I suspect, too, that just quite possibly this is the last time Chris Langford will go off the football field. A poignant moment, I must say. I think we all can remember that last moment. And with that hamstring strain, just maybe he won't play the next 3 games. Who knows? But certainly been a great player. If it is the last time, I think the Hawthorn players and supporters undoubtedly appreciate what he's given to the club over many years.
And wonderful.
And I'm sure the Eagles were joining in to applaud Chris Langford as he was cheered off. That was great to see. Well, the Eagles ground out a win here by 21 points, 13-9 to 10 goals.